Yokoso, 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 arigato gozaimasu. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, episode 85 of the Stadia Monday Night Chat with me, of course, your host, Clive Illenden, as we creep up upon the 2nd year anniversary. Checks pulse. Yeah. Stadia very much alive and healthy, people, and it's as if, ladies and gentlemen, as if to prove my point, this show will be looking at how Stadia, even this week, have continued to deliver exclusive Stadia games, build and add new tech enhancements to the platform. All of that is coming up, so stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned. But of course, before all of that, don't forget to say hi in the chat. I don't know why I'm pointing over there because it's on my screen over there. Say hi in the chat, wherever it is on your screen. Say hi in the chat. Share any Stadia related thoughts and questions, and we'll do our best to kind of answer them. Naturally, any super chats will get priority. So if you have pressing questions or points you want me to tackle, fire away, people, fire away. And of course, let me know what you've been playing this week in the chat as we stage dive into the front row of the audience and see who is in chat already. But before that, of course, don't forget to hit the likes because I like it. YouTube likes it and it helps people like you find content like this. And if you are new here, oh my gosh, yokoso, arigato gozaimasu, welcome. Bing that subscriber button, toggle that notification bell, and then you'll know when I go live with content like this. Okay. Anyway, let's have a quick look in the chat. As I say, stage dive into that front row. The keynote's there. Victor, hiya Victor, straight in there, Victor. Mastar, how are you? Been playing Far Cry 6, hoping for Battlefield. Hope away, Mastar. If I'm brutally honest, it ain't happening. But there we go. You never know. But I wouldn't, if I was a betting man, keep your money in your pocket there. Hey, Dazadini, good to see you, sir. Hope you are good. Hope you are well, of course, and all of that. In lead, Sednar, Jamie. Well, did I get a note from your parents, Jamie, about your illness? Did I get a doctor's note? We'll let you off. Anyway, good to see you, Jamie. I hope you're feeling better. And all of that. Oh, hey, and now your mama knows straight in. I missed that. There he goes, donating with a super chat. Right. Okay. He's trying to bribe me into playing Marvel Avengers. Maybe I will, sir. Maybe I will. Hello, Tom, Jerry, 4K 120. What's up, Cloud Gamers? How are you, sir? Dominic, good evening, sir. Xbox or PlayStation, eh? Ooh, well, given a choice, Xbox. That's my roots, man. Hello, the Soul Home Studio there. Vivek, expected nothing for a year to date. Don't expect anything. Exactly. Tom, you're just going to constantly say Xbox or PlayStation? We've answered the question. Move on, sir. And there we go. So this goes towards Lord Kensal playing Marvel Avengers with me. Maybe we need to make that happen. I'll get Lord Kensal's people to talk to your people. See what can happen, yeah? Much appreciated for that chat anyway there. Oh, Mortal Kombat 11. I haven't played that. I don't think I've played that on Stadia. I played... I remember talking 2 years ago. I remember, of course, playing. What's it? Shogun. Oh, what's like one of the first games on Stadia? The Shogun fighting game. Anyway, you know what I mean. Brain's gone dead. I'm an old man. I forget these things. Charles, hello. How are you? Been playing Wavetail. Well, more of that. It is a little gem. Bibbidi Bop. Good to see you, sir. Wavetail is amazing. Yeah. Oh, Wavetail greater than GTA Trilogy. Ooh, in with the hot statement there, Jamie, my friend. Anyway, personally for me, I've been playing a little bit of Wavetail, Kel Surprise. More on that later. Dirt 5. And I even jumped into Serious Sam 4 as it was in the sale last week. I think it's still in the sale. And thought, why not? A bit mindless popcorn, fun. And I'm having a lot of fun, given, you know, what I paid for it. I'm quite happy. I mean, is it the best game in the world? No. Is it a bit of a Doom rip-off? Of course it is. But, you know, it does what it says on the can, as we say. It does what it says on the can. And at the sale price, no brainer. A lot of fun. It's frenetic. You just trying to stay alive, shoot everything. What more do you need? So there we go. Ray, how are you? Drive carefully, sir. Samurai Showdown. Thank you. I was thinking it was something like that. Thank you, Inled. I can always rely on you there. Loving Tom. Not Stadia related, but loving the Forza. And my son, if we can just sort of do non-Xbox news here, my son's been finding out all the sneaky sort of bugs that you can do in order to grind credits on it. And basically it involves an elastic band on the controller, setting the assistance driving, selecting a certain race, and then just leaving it. And, you know, literally leaving it for 9 hours. There's a race called the Goliath, and it takes about 9 hours to race. Elastic band, set driver assist, the right kind of changes on the car, leave it, off you go. Come back, ka-ching, 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 credits. Anyway, that's Xbox, not Stadia, of course. Clive is alive. He is indeed, sir. Victor... Destiny 2. You know, that was the game that many, I would say most people, most founders probably played first. I reckon at least 90% of all founders probably played Destiny 2 first, that 2 years ago. I was watching Dr. Disrespect play the Halo and doing very well as on it as well, and so yeah, it does what it's expected to do, and it does look really good. Hello, Lee. Evening, all. Good to see you, sir. Anyway, let us get, ladies and gentlemen. Christopher Torres is listening. Good. Let's get to the news, shall we? Let's get to the news. Into the newsmobile. Last week, of course, saw a Stadia community blog, and it seems they held it back a little bit. Why was that? Because a certain publisher, yeah, remember it's the publishers who likes to announce the game sometimes here, a certain publisher called Thunderful Games were making game release announcements in their kind of showcase for the end of the year, all courtesy of Mark Hamill, people. Yeah, Luke Skywalker himself was announcing the games, and one of those games from Thunderful was, in fact, for Stadia. And here is that moment, ladies and gentlemen. If I just go to...
Premiere, Wavetail, the new IP by the creators of SteamWorld and Lost in Random. Available today on Stadia. Coming to PC
on Stadia. I'm lip reading.
Looks like an exciting hypnotic hydro adventure. Ooh, what do we have here? Oh, there's a trailer.
So yes, ladies and gentlemen, Wavetail. I'll just take the sound and you can hear me. So, a Stadia timed exclusive, ladies and gentlemen, from Thunderful, people. Now, this partnership was announced way back in December 2020. I don't know if you remember that at all. No worries. You know me. I've got you covered. There was, of course, a press announcement for it back in the day. Here we go. Do you remember this? Go on, this one here. So this was back in December 2020, so nearly a year ago. Stadia partners with Thunderful Games. That was announced. And there was a nice interview there with the head of development at Thunderful Games, Klaus Lingeled. There. Nice looking team. Look like they're enjoying their work, which is always good to see. And basically talking about how excited they were. And since Stadia keeps the game builds in the clouds, it's incredibly easy to access and test the game internally. The team can see how this technology makes our game really accessible. And, well, if we're brutally honest from what I've seen, they've done a very, very good job. So it's good to see that this was one of the titles that remained on Stadia books, as it were, sort of survived the cull of SG&E closing down. There were clearly some projects which got killed. We know the in-house ones got killed, but presumably some sort of first-party studios also, partnerships like this may have got killed as they refocused their energies. But clearly, this was not one of those titles. Yeah. Interestingly enough, talking of Thunderful, interestingly enough, there was a SteamWorld series as well, a trailer. Just go to this. Now, this looked quite good. Now, this wasn't announced for Stadia. I'm just highlighting here because it is obviously a new SteamWorld game. And we know the previous two SteamWorld games were part of Stadia Pro eventually. Both of them ended up being Pro, I think. And this looks kind of fun, if it's going to be like this. But yeah, so this was their sort of announcement at the end that there's a new SteamWorld game. Headhunter. SteamWorld Headhunter. I don't know what the look of it, whether that's how it's gonna look or whatever. And it wasn't announced for Stadia, but I'm curious. I'm curious because it's sort of kind of cool. So let's hope that finds its ways to Stadia, because I think that would be pretty good, really, if it did. I don't see why it didn't. I don't see why Stadia wouldn't kind of necessarily push for it. But anyway, the thing is, as soon as it was announced, ladies and gentlemen, as soon as it was announced by the publisher, as soon as the game was announced by publisher, then of course that allowed Stadia, of course, to go ahead and acknowledge it. So here we are, Wavetail. Surf the waters of a submerged city in Wavetail, traverse calm waters and surging waves as Sigrid, a young girl who befriends a mysterious shadow that provides her with the power to walk on water. Unravel stories of the past, save the islanders from mysterious sea creatures. This creature up here reminds me of the things in that game from Pixel Junk Raiders. Yeah, Pixel Junk Raiders. It's got the same kind of look in its character design. Anyway, a story-driven action adventure. Basically, it's a platformer, ladies and gentlemen, and a very good 3D platformer, if I do say so myself. Really, really good. I have to admit, I played it this afternoon, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying what I've seen of it. I'm just going to check something here. Yeah, so let me know if you've had the chance to play Wavetail. And let me know what you think about it, basically. Put that down there. Because I've played it and I really like the look of it. I really like the feel of it. The graphic style, the mechanics in it just work really, really well, in my opinion. So have you had a chance to play it? Let me know. As I say, I was playing it this afternoon, and it's just a really great, in my opinion, it's a really great 3D platformer with all the classic tropes of a good 3D platformer, but sharp, speedy response. There's a sort of Ratchet and Clank thing to it, almost visually beautiful in its mechanics. It's beautiful, cell shaded style, reminding me of Zelda Wind Waker. I love the way the character moves, it jumps and leaps, it's at speed. And you know, you've almost got that kind of like Sonic kind of going from sort of slope to slope sort of thing, those sort of rails. Are you sort of grinding along a rail sort of thing, or through a rail onto another one, hooking onto something? It's great. I'm really enjoying it. It's a lovely looking game. And it's great to see, of course, a Stadia exclusive, albeit timed, a Stadia exclusive title at this, you know, at the end of the year. So 2 years into Stadia's life, and we're still getting these Stadia exclusive timed, you know. Could be the last one, who knows? But I'm not sure it is. I'm not going to be too cynical about it. It's just good to see. And not only that, there's more. There's more, people, and there's more. Yes, not only that, a Stadia Pro title, ladies and gentlemen, straight to Stadia Pro, as these sort of timed exclusives tend to be, which makes it 40 games in Stadia Pro right now. 40 games. So if anyone signs up to Stadia for a free trial, yeah, I saw someone on Reddit moaning they're trying to get their mate to have a free trial, but they need a credit card, and what a shame. What a shame you get a free trial of 40 games. Yeah, that is a crying shame. You could literally put your credit card in, cancel it straight away, and you've got a month to have a go at 40 odd games. Stadia, you've got to try and hook people in some way, you know, with subscriptions. Anyway, 40 games. I think, as predicted, there is defo a trend. Yeah, I mentioned on a show a few weeks ago that we would start, well, when the November Pro games were announced, we were beginning to see what looked like a trend in terms of the net games. So more games being added and less leaving. So getting a net gain of games in Stadia Pro, and it was building, which is something that Stadia said that they were going to look to do because their feedback had told them this is what people want. Easy said than done. A reflection of the new revenue model perhaps as well. But I think come December, we're more than likely again to have another net gain in games, thus taking the Stadia Pro games probably beyond 40. So it's building, ladies and gentlemen. It's building, and that is a very compelling set every week. But 40 games and a good mix of games is very impressive. The value keeps on growing. So there you go. And we'll skim through the other stuff as well, just so we know. So Just Dance 22 spins onto Stadia. That seems really expensive. I know they've got to pay music licenses and stuff, but it just seems a very expensive game. But anyway, if you're into that, Stadia Dance 2022, of course. My kids love it on that. Plus, we've got Elder Scrolls Online. There's an in-depth introductory video. You can discover what kind of gameplay and adventures await for you in the Elder Scrolls Online, including breakdowns on character creations, exploration, PvP, group activities, crafting, combat, etc., etc. Get started or return to the world of Tamriel during the second era. The adventure begins. And of course, there's an absolutely massive indie sale. Some of the prices in the indie sale are like a cup of coffee. Yeah, literally a latte. That's the sort of price we're talking at some of these indie sales. So a great chance to get in there, get some indie titles under your belt if you don't subscribe, or even if you do subscribe and they're not on Pro. Anyway, so as I mentioned earlier about Thunderful, that is a mouthful, isn't it? Thunderful partnership, which was announced back in December 2020, there were at least 2 other partnerships. Don't know why I'm doing that. Partnerships that seem to be missing in action. One of them, I just think it's worth reflecting on it. I'm curious because they are missing in action. One of them was Harmonix. Yeah. This was way back in July 2020. Now, I know we had one hand clapping, which I did stream exclusively to my, I did a first look, but since it involves singing, it was exclusive to my members only at the time. Trust me. I feel sorry for them having to put up with me going, if you don't know the game, you have to sing in order to get your character to jump the levels, and you've got to get the notes at the right level so they jump high enough and go low enough. Oh, hopeless I was. But I find it, if that, odd if that was it. One hand clapping was the sole contribution of this grandly announced partnership. Were they working on something else? Did it fall by the wayside? Is there more to come? Dunno. And then the other partnership that was mentioned as well, one which I'm sort of, I hope there's more to come from this. And you'll see why in a minute. Supermassive Games. Again, this was announced back in July 2020. So, nearly 18 months ago. Now, obviously, if you're not aware, Supermassive Games effectively ported or did Little Nightmares 2. So it wasn't one of their original IPs, but they are the ones responsible for bringing Little Nightmares 2 to Stadia. But I just find it odd if that was their contribution. Supermassive known for telling powerful stories and blurring the lines between cinematic entertainment and video games. What makes Supermassive Games and Stadia a good fit? I really thought we might see that kind of House of Ashes from them. Again, missing in action. Was it really Little Nightmares, which is more of a glorified port? No disrespect to Supermassive Games, because they create their own brilliantly cinematic games. So what happened there? Is that another one that sort of project got kiboshed a bit? I don't know. Interestingly enough, Supermassive Games are also responsible for, there is going to be an enhanced version of Little Nightmares 2 for the Xbox Series S and X and the PlayStation 5 and PC with, RTX lighting and lots of other volumetric stuff and all this kind of, basically everything turned up to 11 on the PC. And Supermassive are also doing that. So, So it was just that whole thunderful announcement, partnership, and then a game coming out, which was a year after it was announced, made me think, let's look back at those other announcements and see what we got out of it. I mean, Little Nightmares is absolutely, Caseball here is absolutely awesome, but it's not a Supermassive, and Supermassive did an amazing job on it, on the Stadia one. It looks absolutely brilliant, but it's not their core IP, as it were. The sort of House of Ashes, their sort of cinematic horror film type games is what they're famous for. And there's a trilogy, of course. So as I say, was it really just Little Nightmares 2, which albeit looking amazing on Stadia, and hats off to Supermassive for the job they did. But I was hoping when this was announced that we might see a new IP or House of Ashes. Maybe we will, I don't know. What we do know, and we have to be honest about it, is that we know that there were some projects that were cancelled when CG&E closed, and that was an inevitability of, or a direct result of closing down that side of things. Were these projects, collateral damage or part of that? Or might we still see a port of House of Ashes? I don't know. Something to speculate on. Let me know what you think in the chat. I'm curious what happened to these. Anyway, moving on, ladies and gentlemen. Possible new game sighting, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, possible new game has been sighted off the starboard bow. What am I talking about? What is he talking about? Well, I'll tell you, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm talking about. We are talking about Jackbox Games. I thought I'd got the thing. Okay, let's just do it here. Jackbox Games was, there we are. To pull it, I thought I had the thing then. Okay, so Jackbox Party Pack, Jackbox Games was announced. Not announced. Wasn't announced, sorry. Strike that. Was certified on the ESRB site. So it's been certified for Stadia today. And this is a game a few people are kind of curious about because it's a great party game. Now, I've not played the Jackbox party game, but it's a bit like Just Dance, where you use your phone as the controller. And it's on like virtually every platform. And I think this Jackbox Party Pack 8, look at these platforms that it's on. Steam, PC, Mac, Linux, PlayStation 3, Xbox, Nintendo Switch, Apple TV, iPad, Amazon Fire TV, Humble, not familiar with that, Fanatical, Epic Games, Mac App Store, and Android TV. Anyway, more than likely now it means it's coming to Stadia. What is Jackbox? Well, if you didn't know, it's a party game making studio best known for it. You don't know Jack. What is the party pack? It's a variety of games to appeal to everyone in the room. Zoom call or Twitch stream. So it's great for streamers. Drawing games, writing games, trivia games, hidden identity games. So it's just basically a box of party games. And then there's a big focus on streamers here. And it's sort of, they've got this whole section on how, as if you stream the game, customize your stream, what you can do, ideas. So it's a real kind of party game in which you use your controller to log in, and only one person needs to own the game, apparently, as well. I don't know if there's more people probably in the chat more familiar with this, but I was looking it up, how to play. Here we go. Well, let's play this and it will give you a sense of what it's all about.
So, you want to play Jackbox Games? Great choice. Getting started is easy. For Jackbox Games, your phone or tablet is the controller, and up to 8 people can play, sometimes more. All Jackbox games are rated T for teen, which means any violence will be strictly adorable. Remember, only one person in your room needs to own a Jackbox product in order to host the game. Once you launch and pick the game you want to play, you'll see a 4-letter room code in the lobby. To join, each player uses their phone or tablet and goes to jackbox.tv, using whatever web browser you normally use. Your controller should look something like this. If it looks nothing like this, make sure you went to jackbox.tv. Once you're there, enter that 4-letter room code here. Enter whatever name you want to use in the game here. Hit the play button and you should be connected. The very first person to connect is the VIP. When everyone who wants to play is connected and ready, the VIP can start the game from their device. And that covers the basics. To learn more about individual game settings, including family-friendly mode, or how to play without everyone in the same room, visit
So there we go, like a very
How to
straightforward
Play.
sort of, but popular, the fact that they're on, number 8, party game. Anyway, rated for the ESRB site. So, maybe just in time for Christmas. Now, that would be a good thing to get people introduced to Stadia over Christmas and Thanksgiving and stuff. You've got families around. Hey, you want to play Jackbox Party 8, which I think was only recently released, I think in October. And it's a great way to introduce Stadia. No, not, okay, look at the amazing 4K, 60 frames per second stuff, but like, how are you playing that? Oh, we're just playing it on this. I can also play Destiny 2. I can also play Cyberpunk and all these great things, which I can't play on xCloud. and Resident Evil Village, which I can't play on xCloud and things like that. So, you know, there you go. It's a great way, in my view, to kind of introduce Stadia to your family, as it were, in a kind of cool, friendly way. So maybe that's what they're thinking. Maybe they're thinking, you know, for Christmas. Yeah. But what about the AAAs, Clive? What about, come on, we need more AAAs and stuff. Well, how about, how about Rainbow Six Extraction? Some news on that, ladies and gentlemen. So there was a grand announcement from Rainbow Six Siege. Let me just play the video, and then you'll be able to hear it there. Is that playing? All right. Anyway, so it's coming out at a reduced price than they originally announced. If you've got Ubisoft Plus, doesn't really matter. Friends play for free, so you get a buddy pass. New lower price, free post-launch, and bonus Siege content. So they're kind of giving stuff away. Pre-order now. Don't think you can pre-order on Stadia yet. Somebody can let me know if they do or not. But yeah, so if you haven't got Ubisoft Plus, it's going to be cheaper than you think it might be. And there's some sort of pre-order bonuses that you're going to sort of get with it and stuff. And it releases on January the 20th. So there we go. There's your AAA action coming there to Stadia, ladies and gentlemen. If you were wondering why we were just talking indie stuff. And then the other thing is, oh my gosh, Outriders had a massive update. It was so massive, right? They had to do an announcement about the announcement.
The Outriders broadcast.
Yeah, so they did an announcement.
And, oh, this is gonna be a good one.
About the announcement.
Tune in for an update.
That's how big this update was. And they've really, I think they've taken it on the chin, all the criticism that they've had leveled at it. They've been trying to patch it and all of that and do their best. You know, there's a lot of bad vibes for it, not just from the Stadia community, but from other communities, because the game crossplay wasn't functioning very well on the on other versions as well. There were a lot of issues and stuff with it. Didn't quite pan out how people kind of thought it would. Anyway, massive announcement. So they made a full announcement. I'll play it in the background. Not that you can hear it. But anyway, the key things is that there's whole new... they've just really gone, like done a branch and root kind of upgrading of everything in it in terms of weapons, upgrading your weapons, all of that kind of stuff. Added some new, I think 3 new adventures to go on. This is all free as well. They've just made certain things that were a bit of a pain in the butt easier to do. They've really been working hard on it. And ladies and gentlemen, the big thing, we'll go down through the Reddit post that they did as well. But the big thing they announced, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not showing you this, am I? There we are. I was just showing you stuff in the background. But anyway, massive announcement. The big thing, which I will come to now that they announced, which is of interest to us, is this.
Our players bring to the table multiplayer experience. We now have fully functioning crossplay. Expeditions now have no timer by default. Matchmaking rules have been improved to enable players to
full crossplay, ladies and gentlemen. Full crossplay, including Stadia. You heard it here, ladies and gentlemen. Full crossplay, including Stadia. So they actually called out Stadia there. Not called them out in a bad way, but basically said, yeah, crossplay, including Stadia. So that's great to see. So it may well be worth it. if we have a look, actually, let's have a quick look at some of these changes they've talked about on the Reddit. So if you go to the Outriders Reddit, there is a breakdown of a lot of the things they talk about down here. So so it's called the New Horizon Update. Let's have a look at the overview here. So expedition timers have been removed. So some of the expeditions that you did, as I understand it, were timer related. You had to do them in a certain time in order to get the right rewards. They've been removed, although you can add it in if you want to do it timed. So you can take your time. 4, sorry, I said 3, didn't I? 4 new expeditions have been added. The transmog system has been added. Don't know what that is. It's a long time since I played it. The store's been reworked. Legendary loot drops and farming information changes. So there's more ways to get legendary loot. Changes to legendary sets. You can swap round legendary sets, as I understand it, that you get for certain classes of character. Say you want to play a different class of character, you can transfer the legendary sets to them. Changes to mods and bug fixes. And here at the bottom, look, the Stadia version can now also crossplay with all other platforms. That's all we want, really. You know, we know Stadia has a small, player base relative to other consoles and platforms. So just bring us crossplay. And we were promised crossplay, way back in February, March, whenever it launched. It's here now. Plus all these massive updates as well, and the update applies to all platforms. Now Stadia is in line with all the other platforms. Its update should come concurrently now. It was out of sync, and all the effort was focused on getting the main platforms, as it were, correct and working. And then when they had a big update a little while ago, bringing the Stadia up to speed, ready basically for this massive New Horizon update. So yeah, I may well jump back into Outriders to see what changes, because it's not just the big changes. I think they've made some general bug fixes and stuff like that, and it'll be interesting to see some of the sort of under the bonnet type changes they might have made as well. So there you go. Good. I think that's good news. Again, AAA news related stuff. So there we go. I think this is an exciting update. Is it too late for Outriders? Or can it be salvaged? I don't know. It's out there, but it's probably well worth, if you've got Outriders, if you've not refunded it. I didn't refund it. It was too late. I'd played too much. And I enjoyed it, to be honest. I did enjoy it. It had some bugs and stuff, but I enjoyed playing it. But now maybe it's a chance to go back and give it another go. Let me know what you think. Anyway, so that's all the games sort of stuff. But as I said, 2 years old nearly Stadia now. And it's not just they're bringing new games. They're also, they continue to tweak the tech, ladies and gentlemen. And this, right, specifically in relation to YouTube direct streaming. Of course, a unique function of Stadia is the ability to stream direct to YouTube without it using any of your resources in terms of CPU power, GPU power, whatever, right? It streams straight from the Stadia servers to your YouTube account. It doesn't touch your computer, laptop, whatever it is you're using, which means that, it democratizes streaming for gamers. So anybody can be a streamer, right? You need a PC and a browser, and you can stream to your YouTube channel direct. Well, it seems now, ladies and gentlemen, that you can, in fact, stream in up to 4K, 60 frames per second to YouTube. This, of course, a number of people mentioned this, Gem included. There was a tweet here from Gem. Anyone able to get 4K So there was a conversation. It wasn't just Jem. There's other people, but I'm just going to go here. Anybody able to get 4K Stadia direct streaming? I'm getting 1440p, 60 frames per second every time. Bill here is saying, no, he's tried a few times yesterday, always 1440p, which is fine. I mean, streaming at that level of quality to YouTube, if you were playing the game on your PC and streaming it to YouTube at that level of quality, you'd need a pretty decent computer. I'm not even sure my computer, which I upgraded recently, could do it, like depending on what game it is. But say Cyberpunk, right, which is quite intensive for a gaming PC, to be able to say you played that on your PC, the PC version of Cyberpunk, and then try to stream it. So you have to play it at 4K 60 frames per second at least, and then try to stream it at 4K 60 frames per second to YouTube. You'd need a pretty decent kit. Whereas anybody can do it with Stadia. So they're obviously working on that whole kind of YouTube thing. Peter Contel here saying 1440/60 is the sweet spot. Marcus G Knight says confirmed he got 4K 60 free streaming magic on Google Stadia. So he managed to, with Doom Eternal, he managed to stream direct Doom Eternal to YouTube and 4K 60 frames per second. Exciting stuff. And say Jem was part of this conversation here. Now, of course, it's official now, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, it must be official because 9 to 5, they ought to pay Jem 9 to 5. Anyway, 9 to 5 decided to make it official by writing an article about it. The community were already on it. 9 to 5 should pay the community. Half their stories come from the community, other than the sort of direct press release they get from Stadia. But all the research detective stuff tends to come from the community, and then 9 to 5 are on it. Anyway, Ben Shoon, how are you, Ben? I hope there's not a bad word in here, Ben, because I'll be having words if there is. We know your writing style. Let's give it a go. Stadia now supports streaming directly to YouTube at 4K. One of the exciting announcements during the launch of Google Stadia platform was the ability to stream games directly to YouTube. No additional software needed. Over a year after its launch, that feature was finally added. And now it's getting an upgrade. A year later, effectively. A year since they made it available. It's now getting an upgrade. Stadia can stream to your YouTube at 4K. Remember, it's not using any of your resources. Rolling out now, Stadia now appears to support streaming directly to YouTube at 4K, 60 frames per second, and in HDR, should the game meet those requirements. Previously, the resolution was capped at 1080p, regardless of the resolution the player would see locally. One Stadia player posted an example of Red Dead Redemption 2 streaming at 4K. This new 4K ceiling for Stadia streams on YouTube may be dependent on the game being played. And it seems to vary. And it also seems that they're rolling it out slowly. Some people are getting it, some people aren't, and stuff like that. Notably, this is the first real expansion of Stadia's YouTube integration we've seen since direct streaming debuted last year. What's exciting to me about this is not the fact that it's exciting that you can stream at that quality, but as Ben most notably puts here, it's the first real expansion of Stadia's YouTube integration. So why put that effort in? Unless you've got plans, yeah? They got plans. They're going places. Forward. This is the first real expansion of Stadia's YouTube integration. We've seen direct streaming debuted last year. It's unclear if Google has further plans to expand on Stadia's built-in streaming tools. The ability to include a webcam feed would certainly be welcome. But it's nice to see the feature hasn't been forgotten. Not bad, Ben. I'll let you off on that one. That was a good one. The ability to stream a webcam would be cool, but it sort of almost breaks that idea that you're not having to use any resources of your CPU to get to get the stuff to YouTube. What the best way I think you could probably do it would be by some web application. I used to use when I streamed on Mixer, REP, yeah, you know, big part of Xbox. They decided to close it down because it wasn't working for them. Didn't mean the end of Xbox, did it? Anyway, they closed down Mixer, but I used to stream to Mixer, but I used to stream via, and I forget the name of it now, but it was a web-based overlay type thing, and you could add in cameras and stuff like that. So where you couldn't necessarily add in a camera, well, you could add in a camera to your direct to Mixer from Xbox, but it was using Xbox to, you know, and your network to stream. If you could somehow use a web browser overlay type thing that took your video feed and add overlays and sent that and mixed it. Yeah, it's hard because the stream is going direct from the servers. It's not coming to you. You don't want this. That's the whole point. You don't want the game stream other than what you're playing. You don't want what's being sent to YouTube to come to you. That's the whole point. So I'm not sure how it would work, a camera feed, unless they could sort of mix it there. But they're geniuses. They made cloud gaming work. So, you know, who am I to doubt their ability? But it would be kind of cool if you could, you know, do some basic overlays and stuff. Even if you're using a sort of a web-based, cloud-based kind of overlay system. But there you go. Pretty impressive stuff, really. And that's 9 to 5 reporting on that, as we can see. I've not tried it yet. I've tried the streaming, but I've not tried streaming at 4K or 1440p or anything like that. But it must be true, as I said, because 9 to 5 posted about it. And as I said, they should definitely pay Gem or the community, because we seem to get these stories and they're like, you know, I featured in one of their stories. So, you know, anybody who discovers something, they're on it. I suppose their job is to report these things, but there we go. But Stadia continue to tweak and develop Stadia and the YouTube relationship, you know, and if Stadia is grinding to a halt or closing down, why bother? Yeah. Well, the answer is because it isn't. They continue to improve the offering, slowly building it. I had a good conversation with Marcus on the Twitter, and about it's a slow build, you know, brick by brick. Don't expect thunder and lightning. They're building slowly Stadia so that when cloud gaming becomes sort of more mainstream and mass and accepted, it's just there. Yeah. As if it always exists, Stadia will be just there, as if it always existed. It won't be a new thing, and it will be established and built on solid foundations. And that's why Stadia are just staying in the game. They're just staying in the game, because when suddenly people turn around and realize cloud gaming is a mass thing, just like Netflix, you know, they just stayed in the game and then suddenly turn around and people going, you know, actually, I quite like this streaming thing, and they were just there. Established ahead of the game. And that's what Stadia are doing. Just as a slow build. In my view, that's how I see it building. Don't expect thunder and lightning with Stadia. Just expect solid foundations being built and developed and tweaked. Anyway, as I mentioned, a lot happening once again. What do you think was the most interesting thing from last week in terms of the stories and stuff? Let me know. What sort of got you excited out of all those stories that I talked about today? Let me know in the chat. Talking of which, ladies and gentlemen, why don't we have a look to see what the conversation has been all about, ladies and gentlemen? Let's go. Let me whiz through this chat. Apologies if I missed you. We'll do our best. Wavetail is great. Yes, it is. Let me just close that down and put that up there. I can see better. Right. It is. It is a good game. Favorite FIFA game and why? Loving FIFA 22, to be honest, Tom, if you ask. It's what got my son playing on Stadia, and we play it loads. We were going to do a stream this weekend together. We've never got around to it. It is an exploit. Yes, it is indeed, Charles. Yeah, they need to fix it, because you could literally, yeah. There's a Goliath race, and there's another race which is only about only 4 hours long. This other thing was 50 laps long, and each lap is nearly 11 minutes or something like that. It's like crazy. Just unlock the secondary area. It is a super chill game. It's a sort of, it took me back to, my platforming days, when you can just get lost in the platform. And then when you sort of don't quite get it, and then you start again that level, and whatever it is, that platforming level, and just time goes by. Hey, look, if you just like if you like a sort of a knockoff Doom, given the price, I think it's a bargain. Will become very well supported moving towards the cross-platform. I think you might be right there. It is indeed Little Nightmares. Love it. Hey, Jerry, I got a little bit stuck. The bit where you slide in under the beds. Is that the bit? Or with the arms coming out. No spoilers. Yeah. There's so many games I need to go back to. I need to go back to Doom Eternal, let alone anything else. Stadia's lost more developers than remain. If we're being honest, xCloud has absolutely smashed headfirst into Pro. No one would pick Pro over Xbox Games Pass. Day and date release of AAA. The only AAAs they're releasing, in fairness, Case Paul, are first party titles. Hey, I'm not dissing them, because it got me having a go at xCloud because of Forza 5. And definitely I'll be having a go at Halo when it goes on xCloud. But can't play Cyberpunk. Can't play FIFA 22. Can't play Resident Evil Village. So it's not quite, this is xCloud, not quite a thing yet, But I get what you're saying. You can't knock Forza. You can't knock Halo Infinite. Of course you can't. But, that's not for everybody, in fairness. I'm really impressed with xCloud recently. I tried it out. Because one of the things for xCloud was dealing with the latency issue that I had compared to Stadia. But in my view, it's much closer. It seems to hold the game, even though the picture quality may drop down now and then. But the other thing for me, which always appealed to me with Stadia, is I do most of my gaming on my TV. I just want to be able to pick up my controller like you did with the old Xbox, right? But without Xbox, click and play. I just want to be able to play it on my TV in 4K, whatever it is, beautiful looking, on a big screen, play it, no downloads, none of that. I want that convenience. Now, they've got that convenience with the PC app, and now I can stream my Xbox games playing xCloud, so it's not resource hungry. I can play xCloud, stream it over OBS, which I've been doing going back to Sea of Thieves, which is what, as I said, I mentioned earlier, I used to stream Sea of Thieves all the time. I used to have a lunchtime stream. It was called Lunchtime Pirate, something like that. Where I used to work, I still work there now, I just don't go to the office, although I am going tomorrow. It's near Regent Street in London, near the Microsoft flagship store, which is next to the Apple flagship store in Regent Street. And upstairs they've got the Xbox section, and in the Xbox section they had all these booths that you can just play. You can go up there and you can just play Xbox games. They've got a massive screen there as well, but they've also got a closed off studio with booths, and you can stream, and anybody can book the streaming studio. So I kind of missed playing games during the day, so I thought, I'm just going to ring them up. And so I booked every couple of lunchtimes, so maybe 2 lunchtimes a week, 1 o'clock. I booked their streaming studio in the Microsoft store, went in there. They're all geared up, Xbox at the time, Xbox One X and all that kind of stuff, all kind of Razer streaming equipment, all that kind of stuff. And I used to stream on Mixer, and of course I'd already had all my overlays and everything set up, and because they were in the cloud, I didn't have to kind of bring my overlays with me. Could use those, and I used to stream Sea of Thieves. Now I've got xCloud on my PC. I've been playing it. It looks amazing. Sea of Thieves really plays well on xCloud. So they're definitely there in terms of performance. I do get a few picture issues now and then, but you know, that happens. But I just like the convenience. Now they've also got the app. You can stream to the console, and I've got an old Xbox S, which was just not doing anything, just sitting here unplugged. I've plugged it in, and I'm using it as a glorified streaming stick. So now I can do that thing and sit by the TV and just click and play. And that's how my son plays Forza, via the xCloud. So I'm not knocking those games, and I'm not knocking xCloud because they've suddenly got the convenience. But the only games I'm interested in, out of all, that I can't play on, Stadia, the only games I'm interested in are Sea of Thieves, Forza, and Halo. And they're all the, exclusives. But everything else, Stadia. Anyway, that was a bit of a long roundabout way to say I've been playing a bit of xCloud. I play Forza on my console. Can't be bothered to download it, that's all. I'm impatient. Ah, look, the beautiful Yoshida Arigato gozaimasu is in the house. Soul Home Studio getting into it with Caseball, having a conversation. Yeah, exactly. Sorry, I keep getting distracted there by people. Sorry, 4K 120. It is indeed about Stadia. Although it's useful just, as I say, okay, you've got to, as a benchmark, yeah, as a sort of a benchmark now and then. Anyway. Oh, Outriders Black Friday. Yeah, Black Friday sale and Outriders. A chance for those who didn't have it or refunded it if they want to see would be good. Caseball. I think different people's experiences will be different, but for me, tech-wise, Stadia still edges it. But xCloud have come on leaps and bounds with the Series X blades that they put in, but yeah, it edges it. And don't forget, Xbox don't get the AAA games other than their own, first part, their studio ones, which are massive, but let's not over egg it. Yeah, you want cross-save. Didn't we have cross-save and we didn't have cross-play? I can't remember that, 4K. Yeah, I'm sort of there with you, and it's getting there. It's getting there for me, but Stadia is still my choice, my weapon of choice. It's called Stadia Monday Night Chat. That's why I do it. That's what I'm passionate about. That's what I'm interested in. I was 2 years ago, I am now. Bought this day one on Stadia, jumped back in this week, and it plays a lot better. We're talking Outriders. That's good to know, Caseball. Good to know. I heard MM2K saying he thought he was playing really well as well. So I'll wait for the re-reviews. Yeah. Didn't buy it based on the reviews. Hey, Mr. Bayram, how are you, sir? The direct streaming's in the quality you're playing in. 4K 60 I got working when playing on a CCU. Okay. Mr. Bayram is well excited. It is something, yeah, that PS5 can't do. You'd need an Elgato capture card, a top one, expensive one, and a really good gaming PC, well, content creation gaming PC to do it. So there we go. Hey, Jerome, how are you, sir? So far, my use case, Destiny 2, PUBG, Dirt 5 Rise Public are 4K HD 60 with direct streaming. Well done, Bibty Bob. Rainbow Six and Wavetail is 1440 60. Wow. On the Chromecast Ultra, yeah. There's a sort of a workaround, I think. I'm sure if you start it on PC or something like that, and then go to your, I wasn't quite sure. I recommend anyone who hasn't watched the Stadia keynote since the summer, go back and rewatch it. It's reassuring 6 months later. Well, you know, we talk about it on this show all the time, don't we? They laid out what they want to do way back in February. Blog post laid out what they want to do, and they're doing it. Are they doing it in a kind of spectacular, fireworky, bells and whistles way? Not necessarily, but they're certainly moving and ticking off the boxes of what they said they were going to do. Once they allows you to call the party chat and direct stream. Yeah, I prefer party chat. Yeah, well, this is the whole unique. Well, not unique, because obviously Luna has its Twitch relationship and Amazon, but we know that Amazon don't always bring these things together, as we've seen with New World. But this is one of the key features, is that get the streaming, and then, hey, want to play this game, click, or buy the game that I'm streaming, click and play. Do you want to join in with the game? It's a great marketing device, and we know how YouTube gaming is increasing in popularity. It's a long way to go before it reaches the levels of Twitch, but again, it's about, one's been, in terms of live gaming, one's been established a lot longer than the other, but more and more the stats are pointing more and more towards YouTube streaming as being the place to go. So yeah, crowd play, crowd choice, it's all good foundations. I don't mind FIFA 22 having bad defense, because it means I can score. God of War killer. Yeah. Which one? It's funny looking at Jem saying that's 1440p as well. Trust me, if at Clive clicked the replies, you'd see the stats for nerds. Imagine confirming UD8 promise. Its own game. Matsukaze, yeah. It is its own game. Absolutely. I'm just sort of trying to make, like anything, any cultural thing, you're going to look back and see what echoes, there are certain, you make an action movie, there are certain tropes you need to have. You make a platformer, and the way that it's, the mechanics and the way it's devised, it's going to have a certain familiarity to it. It's just the creative way in which you apply those which sets it apart, and it certainly does that with that game. Has a lot of games, different features to enhance gaming. Absolutely. They have a link to my video on 9 to 5. Really? Do they? Said no? Oh my goodness! Well done, you, sir. Oh, is this one? You posted it. Let's have a look at set. There we are. Look. Was this your video in 4K? I'm just going to up it. Wow. Just going to probably slow down everything here. Let's go full screen. Let's just move it along a bit, see some fine Sednar action. Wow. Yeah, certainly looks like it from what I can see. I have my screen on very dim, low light here, because when I'm streaming, so it doesn't reflect in my eyes. But oh God, I really miss playing Red Dead Redemption, the story. It's such a great game. It's such a great game. No, you're famous, Rednar. I'm going to make you famous. I actually like what I played of Wavetail. I do. I'm really enjoying it. And as I say, with all its platforming tropes and stuff like that. There you go, ladies and gentlemen, as Sednar does his thing. They're beautiful, but that's great. You know, if you just want to stream and you don't necessarily show your face, you just do it. You just do it. That's the beauty of it. It's such a cool feature. And I think if YouTube as well themselves bring in, enhanced features for streamers. Wow, look at that. That's really good. Bring in, so YouTube itself bring in enhanced features, not just the Stadia features, but like crowd choice and things like crowd play, but other features that streamers can benefit from, then that's just going to make that whole experience of doing that even better. Anyway, I have Stadia and GFN. I've been playing for GFN as a founder forever, but never really touched it because Stadia was a better experience until this new 3080 tier dropped recently. GFN doesn't float my boat, unfortunately, for that. So the reasons I said about convenience, my user case is I want to play on the big TV. I'm not buying an NVIDIA Pro thing. I just want to be able to click a button, an app, and play. Right now, Xbox does that for me to a certain degree, but Stadia has done it for 2 years, and that's why I like it. I'm a console boy at heart. I'm not a fiddly twiddly PC nerd, which is what, GFN, I say that in a jokey sense, but that's what, and that's why GFN's quite, is popular, because it appeals to those people who love playing PC games and streaming, and have a massive Steam collection and all that kind of stuff. I said it before. It's ideal. If you were a PC gamer and you came to me and said, which cloud service should I use? I've got 100 Steam games. I'd be going, well, I probably think GFN's the right thing for you, if I'm brutally honest. So that's the way I judge it. So, but if I can imagine, if you're really into PC gaming and cloud gaming at the same time, the 3080's tier is pretty impressive, although expensive. But there you go. Right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to call it a night there. Thank you for joining me as ever. Thank you for the super chat, Anthony, much appreciated. I will make sure Lord Kensal and the cowboy get together and play a bit of Marvel sometime. That would be fun. Have a wonderful evening, a wonderful week. I don't know whether we're going to get any news. It's not blog post week, but that doesn't mean that they don't come out with news and updates and stuff like that. I know it's the anniversary coming up. Who knows whether they'll just do something small, like a free weekend of stuff or something like that, or nothing at all. We can speculate, but don't get your hopes up high, and then you won't be disappointed. That's the way I look at it. We know. Come on, if you've been a founder for 2 years, you should know that you should manage your expectations. And if you get carried away with the hype, and then you get disappointed, I'm afraid to say it's your fault. If you expected to see the Grand Theft Auto trilogy this week, and you were so gutted that it hadn't arrived, I'm afraid that's on you. It would have been nice, yes, absolutely. Although, given the reviews, perhaps not. But just from a marketing point of view and a PR point of view, but they would have announced it at the time, because they announced the date it was coming out and the platforms it was coming out only a few weeks before it actually came out. And to be honest, they would have announced it then. We live in hope, of course we do, but I think the right way to manage your expectations would have been that it wasn't coming out, and if it did, been blown away. So, yeah, keep the hype. Don't get on the hype train. Don't expect anything. If something comes along, whoop-de-doo, have fun. Anyway, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, on that cautionary advice, that little bit of wisdom, have a wonderful week, and we'll do this all again, same time, same place, as we'll probably have a look back over the 2 years of Stadia, maybe some activities this weekend and stuff like that, Anyway, keep an eye out on Twitter and things like that for any updates and news. And I'll see you all around, as I say, same time, same place next week. Thank you. Love you guys. Goodbye.